So it is day 2. Yesterday we broke this thing, and today we're getting her mostly put back together and hopefully going to take it for some more rips. But one piece of the puzzle is these motor mounts, engine mounts that were in the $200 Civic. So this $200 Civic actually came in like handy a lot, because we got the SI cluster, we got the engine harness, we got a good virgin like chipped, or not, it wasn't even a chip P28. The P28 that I traded PFI for the P72 that we actually put in there after we had all the issues with my P06 that looked like it had like water damage or whatever. So that came in really handy. So I would say this $200 Civic is really, really helping out. I also get these motor mounts. I'm not sure if these are like, I don't know what brand they are. They might be the cheap ones, but they're polyurethane, and it's a different style right here. And then I have this bracket right here. So go ahead, get the front, the rear, the back, all that type of stuff in. And then you can see it doesn't have a front bumper on it. One of my buddies came down the other day, and he posted on Facebook. He's like, hey, does anybody have an EK front bumper? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, how much? I was like, come get it. So, and he actually does photos and stuff. So he shot some really cool photos of this thing the other day. And so I'll be probably throwing those out on my Instagram. So if you want to see those, go over to Instagram. And then he's going to come down later this week and help film a little promo video for a little something happening early next week. But yeah, so it all works out. He's going to come back too, and his car doesn't have an exhaust on it, so we're going to do the full exhaust off of this thing on there for him. And then he has a 96 car, and it has a 99 headlight. So I'm going to give him this headlight, and we're just, this Honda, it's getting put to good use. And don't feel too bad, because look, got all the rust. And then if you get in here, I was really surprised by this. Like, you could see the ground through there. So don't feel bad for this Honda. It's all the pieces are going to good use. Should we just go ahead and pull the strands?
No.
And axles?
No.
Diff?
No.
Brakes?
No.
Okay. This is some leftover 10-10 AN line, or braided line, and a -10 swivel fitting. This is a Deechworks fitting. I love the way these look. Like, even just the black hose and these together, it's basically what all the lines and everything are done in the Supra in. And I had one fitting left, and then we'll put this black one on the bottom, but I wish I had another top one like that. This is that prettier, but yeah, it's actually hopefully not going to leak now. Baby! Carson!
Say push!
What is it?
Say push! Pull!
Pull! What? What? Pull? Should I pull? So this is where the one goes back mount. Thank you.
Say, here you go, Daddy.
Thank you.
It's probably just messed up because it was flexing like it was.
You want to go for a rip, huh? I wonder if I can see. see what up with that Honda life again.
See if you can't still drive a Honda.
Hey. Look at it. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? There it is. That's the light. All right. So got the turbo drain all installed. That looks way better than that other one, and hopefully it don't leak. So then we got these billet torque mounts on there so that the engine will quit trying to rip itself out of there. Had to use some bolts we had laying around, but yeah, looking good. Got the solid mounts, or the polyurethane mounts right there. Dave ended up convincing me to do the one in the rear, and I'm not gonna say I'm glad we did because it took a long time and it was kind of a pain, but yeah. So I think now we need to lower it down. I need to finish tightening some stuff over here and put the axle nut and everything on it. And then I don't know if I'm gonna cut the hood right now or if I should make that exhaust piece for it, and then it'll just be fully done. But the other thing I want to do is actually get rid of the shifter. So this is one of those like really cheap short shifter ones, but I don't know, sometimes I'm not really a fan of the short shifters, and then especially in this car specifically, they cut off the head of the shifter and then just did like a little really cheap shift knob where you have to like tighten like an Allen head like set screw on the side of it, and so it's like really short, so you gotta like put your hand like way down on the side to actually even like reach it, and it's just not that comfortable for me, and I feel like I can't really like shift really fast because you're almost, since the shift is so short, it's almost hard to figure out what gear it's in. So I'd almost rather like freaking bang gears, like row them, versus like sitting there going like tink tink. But I don't know, that's just me. So I'm gonna put a stock shifter off of this guy on there, and I think that's gonna be it, other than the cutting the hole in the hood. Thing is all hooked back up, turbo drain, fresh oil pan, gasket, all that stuff. So pull it out, let it warm up for a little bit, and then we'll take it for a little rip and see if this axle holds again. First start. Oh yeah, I feel the motor way more now. I'm solid mounts pretty much. Got this nice extendo shifter. I can actually reach it. Get that really nice long throw like I like it. Then we'll back it out, let her warm up, and yeah. That's why I waited to do a pull. It's all right there. I at least thought we would, man, I should have just done it in third, because at least we would have got a good third out of it. Oh, that's silly. Oh, watch, I guarantee you I'll squeeze that thing and it'll fire right back up. Turbo's still spinning.
Yes, like fourth gear plugged.
No.
Second limiter, and then it.
We coasted all the way from down there.
That's how fast you're ripping, huh?
No,
It was second.
Killed your ballast.
I just don't know why that stupid thing keeps doing that. Like we were getting ready to do some pulls, like.
Oh man, what's all this?
Oh, it's the head lift.
Huh? In the corner right there?
Yeah.
Concludes the, I guess, taking the 500 horsepower Civic for some rips on the street, fixing all the motor mounts, doing all that type of stuff. Definitely when you're sitting in this thing now, it's just like everything's vibrating, the dash is vibrating, the door mirrors and stuff, like when you're backing out, are vibrating. And then that stupid map sensor, literally, that map sensor is what was messing with us on the side of the road. So you could hear the boost solenoid down there, and what that's doing is like cycling the duty cycle because it sees too much pressure. This basically locks the map sensor at 55 psi, and if you like, I don't know, basically if you could get this thing to like actually connect and start reading correctly, that will turn off. So that's kind of the, you know, how I know if it's working or not. Back at the shop today, last night I had another issue with the stupid map sensor, and so I was asking around, and actually one of my my buddies, they have a spare GM 3 bar. So this is an AEM 3.5 bar, which is like 55 psi, 50, 55, somewhere in there, and a 3 bar I think will do like 44 or 42. So we're running about 30 pounds of boost on here, plus about 12 pounds of atmospheric. So we're going to be like right at the very limit of that 3 bar, but at least we'll have a little bit of resolution to play with versus 0 and being broke down on the side of the road again. So I'm going to run over to his house real quick and grab that. They actually just got back from TX2K, and they got a pretty cool like a 61 Buick Skylark over there. So maybe we'll show you that real quick, and I'm going to grab that sensor. Hopefully we'll get this thing ripping in today, and then maybe we'll work on that other thing. Map sensor acquired. Yeah, this is a 61 Skylark.
Yes, sir.
And what's the engine setup on it?
This is a 427 dark based LS, dark block, trick flow heads, Frankenstein billet intake, 76, 75 turbos on it with precision intercoolers up in the corner.
This seems definitely sweet. You guys just got back from TX2K?
Yes, sir. Yeah, went down there and did pretty well with it. Set a personal best, which that's the first time we've been out with the car itself. But
Oh, I like the key tag.
yeah, I got that from some guy here in town here local.
Is that the race car one? Or is it the
So I got a shirt like yours.
or is it the daily one?
I have to look at it and see.
Oh, it's the streets louder. That makes sense.
We make the streets louder. Yep. It's a street car.
I mean, that's right. Yeah, so you guys, what kind of power do you think this thing makes?
Near as we could estimate down there when it was in Texas 2K, we was right around 1,500 to the ground, and was roughly probably 1,300 to the crank. That might be a little, like 1,450 to 1,500.
Yeah. That's
But
cool.
we're just estimating it because of the mile going away of the car, so we're kind of backing it up from what
Yeah.
we're estimating. But
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah, this is actually, so this is Greg. That's Greg right there. And he's actually James, Build Tune Race. That's his dad, actually. So it, I guess building fast things kind of runs in the blood. Because James cleaned my injectors like 2 weeks ago in the Civic. Yeah, I was like, messaged him at like 7 at night. I was like, hey, can we clean some injectors? So, but yeah, he has a lot of videos on his channel of kind of the whole process going down there, all the runs and everything. 1320 got some decent coverage of this thing. It was funny just because there was like, this thing in a sea of Lamborghinis and GTRs, and
it's pretty crazy when you unload we were definitely the oldest car on the,
yeah,
on the property. But you unload it and everybody's kind of looking at you like you're the odd duck, which we were. And then once you start firing up, they start paying a little attention, a little more attention, a little more attention.
Yeah.
And then probably at the end, I think we gained a little bit of respect for at least holding our own.
yeah.
So some of them we were fast.
Well, and that's pretty much the first time it's ever been out on the track.
Yeah, that was the first time.
Besides the street and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we've been on the street. We mowed a little grass.
yeah, I seen them. I seen them marks on the street going into the grass. I was like, "Who's that?" And then I seen his video the next day. But yeah, Greg used to have a shop kind of down the street from mine, and he was always testing stuff at night. And I would always show up over there, and he's like, "Who's this kid?" But
That's the same time when you were out testing on the street.
yeah, we're out testing stuff, and you were like, "Hey, who's this guy?" Like we're both making both making noise. We're both making the streets louder.
That's right, we were.
But yeah, so well, I appreciate the map sensor, and we'll probably see some of this. Well, you guys are going to testing tomorrow too.
Yeah, we're probably not going to actually run the car tomorrow. Kind of depends. I don't know if the time's going to permit, but we're definitely going to get a chassis cert on this one and the old yellow car
Yeah.
tomorrow.
This thing looks like it's been on the back bumper.
Yeah, we stood that one up. That's been several years ago. Went out testing, went out wheelie bars and stood it right up on all
Yeah.
the tires are off the ground.
Well, sweet. Well, I'm gonna go work on the Civic. I went ahead, got this other map sensor installed, and again, this harness is kind of the temporary harness. We're gonna get a nice harness, and we'll clean everything up then. But right now, it's like the test everything harness, make sure everything works. Let's take it for a rip. Driving, and it seems to be working good. Now that we got the map sensor issue all solved, and I gave you know, Blake and Ty, took him for a little trip down to Mexico. Gave her a couple little street rips down there. Made the journey pretty fine, but when we got back, you can see we get a little bit of oil that's kind of spitting up right here, and stuff that's kind of right there on the valve cover. And I don't think it's coming out of that fitting. I think it's just flicking from all this stuff down here. So the cam seal is definitely leaking on here. So I'm going to go ahead and mark the timing on it real quick. Actually, I'm going to set it at TDC and then mark the timing belt, loosen it up just a little bit, pull it back. Hopefully should be able to pull this cam seal without too much stuff. It should only be like a 10-15 minute job, but hopefully then it won't be leaking as much anymore. I'll brake clean all that stuff and make it nice and clean again, and then start working on this exhaust thing, because I think we're going to mess with this exhaust thing. Executive decision has been made on the exhaust for now. So I just I want to put the hood back on this thing, but it just kind of gets close to these lines, and I don't know, I just don't kind of want to deal with that right now, and I don't want to heat it up. And this whole spacer thing, this little 4-bolt to 3-inch V-band, is kind of long. So I really think all I have to do is I have a 2.5 flange right here, and so what I'm going to do with that, put it right here, do like 2 little pie cuts to kind of bring it straight out, maybe even over just a little bit, and kind of come up right here. And that should put us on the bottom of the hood. There's not a like the ridges behind it right there. It should just be open hood. So I think that'll be an easy spot to do the downpipe. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and cut some pie cuts, and then hopefully that looks good. So I have this as a 90. I'll probably end up using that. I know it's kind of funny because we're going from a 3-inch to that, but I mean, I hope it's okay with that. I mean, it's 2.5 right here, but I don't know. I think we could be good. I mean, I almost just thought about clocking this over just a little bit, and that's an option too. But for now, we're gonna do pie cuts. So if you've ever done pie cuts or looked into them, you basically have 2 degrees, which is 4.5 and 9 degrees. 9 is a little bit more aggressive, so you have to use less of them. And 4 is for kind of like a nice shallow little bend type of thing. So what you have to do is, this is a 2.5-inch piece of stainless tube. And so what I did is drew this line on it, which is exactly 2.5 inches up, or 1.25 inches up. Same thing on this side, basically. So they should be kind of a, you know, mirror image. And then, so I went ahead and got a little protractor offline. And basically what I do is I just look at it from right here, get it kind of lined up. This is about 10 degrees right there. That looks pretty damn close to 9 right there. And so that's how we're going to do that. And then basically what you do is you set your tube right here. Set that bad boy right there. Give you guys a little bit of zoom action. Get it close to tightening down. And then what you do is you go ahead and measure up 1.25 inches, just so that you know your tube is correct. Let's see, we'll go ahead and tighten it down. Make sure it doesn't do anything crazy. Okay. So yeah, we're sitting right at 1.25 inches right there, and then so this cut will be our starter cut, because we'll have a flat piece right here. So this is what we'll butt up to the flange. So we'll have a 9-degree cut right here. I'll probably go ahead and scoot it actually over a little bit. And you could keep these all the same by basically kind of measuring the blade. So that's about 1 inch. That's about what I want for the first one. So yeah, we'll go ahead and cut this. This first one will be 9 degrees. The second cut is actually going to be 18 degrees because we have two 9-degree angles on each side, and so you have to kind of keep that in mind, and that's why a lot of people do the 4.5-degree angles, because then it's a total of 9 degrees. But we're going a little bit more aggressive on here just because I don't want to be welding all day. So I'm going to go ahead and get this cut and get her done, I guess. And I can make one more little pie to where it'll be like right there.
Yeah, I feel like that'd be a little better. Like, was that like a? Is that what is this degree? A 9? So it'd have to almost be like
Well,
a.
this is 18. This one is 9 because it's one 9-degree cut. This is 2 9-degree cuts, so that's an 18. So then we'll just do a 9 and a straight to get it back to mate to this.
Yeah.
So instead of it being like right there, it'll just come over just like a smidge more. It might be like right there.
Which I think is almost better.
And that kind of gets it away from everything that I initially...
Some of the feed lines, and it's still out of the way of the upper radiator hose, so.
What do you think about that?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think that's probably a little bit better too. Hey, quit blowing holes in my ship.
Quit blowing holes in my ship.
It was doing good, and then it just got some contamination and started getting bad.
Contamination? I don't think that's
Oh,
contamination.
that's not me. You can't tell me that's not contamination. You
blowing a hole through the material.
You weren't watching it.
Like, yeah, I
All
can
right,
see
hey,
it.
how about let's get you under this.
I never claimed to be a welder ever.
Well, then quit complaining
But I
about
can see,
my hole.
I can see holes when I see them, bud.
Yeah, I know, but it was contaminated. See how it's all crusty looking?
Well, I know, but
There was stuff, and it was bubbling and shooting and popping and fizzing and
isn't heat holes? Create holes?
Yeah, I mean, you could blow a hole that way, but like when it does that, and then it just won't. Like you can see how gross that is. That's just bad. There's just some contamination right there. It's not. It's not me. It's not me. It's
okay,
that.
bud.
That, not me.
As long as you fix it, right?
I mean, it ain't gonna be pretty. Grinder and paint.
Grinder and paint makes Trevor what he ain't.
Alright, so there we are. The final hood dump. Pretty decent. Now this, since we moved the engine and everything around with the motor mounts, this thing's kind of in a little bit different spot because it did shift a lot of stuff doing it all solid. But man, this thing's like super loud on the inside of it now just because of it. It almost makes, it turns like the doors and like the roof and everything into like a speaker, and it almost sounds like somebody's just playing like bass, just like bah, like all the time when you're sitting there. It like almost tickles your ears. It's crazy like how loud it is now. But yeah, hood dump, craziness. So yeah, I think that's probably about it. I guess I could show you guys a little bit of the little angle thing that we made. So this is I mean, in my head, this just turned out way better than it actually did when I went to do it. So I think what happened is I was using this little paint marker right here to mark everything, and I think when I was cleaning it, it just didn't completely clean it, and there's like in the back where I made those, basically that line going straight across for the pie cuts, right exactly there on both sides, there's like a weird blowout spot where it kind of started getting all crackly and dark and just really gross. So I made sure to really clean it when I did this. This is kind of matches the angle of the hood. But yeah, 2.5 inch straight out of the housing. I figure it probably doesn't really matter a whole lot, you know, to go from a 3 inch to a 2.5. And this kind of positions it a little bit further away from like the spark plug wires, you know, the catch can stuff. Kind of puts it over here and a little bit better position for right there. So yeah, it's honestly crazy how much better the engine bay looks just by taking off that that like felt, or that, I don't even know what it was, just fabric that they had on there. So yeah, tomorrow is some testing at the drag strip, so I might actually take this out there and take it for a little rip down the strip and see how it does. I'm kind of curious what kind of times I could actually run or how much stuff I could break. So I don't know if I'm going to bring the trailer, if I'm going to drive it out there. I don't know, what do you think? Do you think that'd be a good idea? Drive it? Drive it to the track?
See if we can run 10.
Go get, I don't think it's going to run 10, but
probably not these tires, but
yeah, I think it's going to need some different tires. But I mean, we can see what it traps, and then we'll know a lot from what it traps.
yeah.
But yeah, that's going to be it for this this video, guys. I guess there's not really any reason to take it for a rip out right now. It has been raining a little bit, and I know it probably just spin like crazy. But it was definitely cool giving these guys rides today. What'd you think?
It's fun. It's fast.
It's like crazy. Like
this was like 140, and you're just like, oh damn.
140 down in Mexico.
Down in Mexico.
And
yeah,
it's funny because I gave Blake, my buddy, a ride. So he's actually the one. He had a turbo Honda back in the day. I don't know if we have any videos of it on the channel, maybe. But it made like 480. It was like a fully built, like forged sleeve GSR. It made like 480 on pump gas, just like turned way down on a 62. Man, that thing was a monster. And that thing, it was just always these little finicky issues. And I mean, I'm surprised he didn't burn it to the ground, like how many revisions he went to. But that was like when we were in high school, like 6 years ago. So it's been a long time. Gave him a ride in it. You know, and kind of since he got rid of that thing, he's like, oh, screw turbo Civics and stuff. But gave him a ride in it today, and he's like, he was about it. So Ty's been looking at him on Facebook Marketplace. Colton, we gave him a ride yesterday, and he was like sending me links and stuff, and he's like, hey, come with me tonight. I want to go buy this Civic, and I'm just like, hold on, bud, I need to weld my thing. So the turbo Civics, they're addicting, and some of you guys were actually giving me a hard time about my headliner, and we figured out the perfect explanation for it. Is because that's just all the emotions that you go through when you own a turbo Civic. Like really. Because you laugh, you're like, oh my goodness, what is that? What is this? You're just cruising it, you hit boost, like something breaks and you don't want to act like it breaks, and then like something really breaks, and then, I mean, that's just all the emotions that you go through owning a turbo Civic. So that kind of makes sense. But I guess that's going to be it for this little ramble. Appreciate you guys watching. If you guys like the Civic content, be sure to let me know, and subscribe if you're not. More videos to come. Plenty more videos. We need to get the Supra. Civic's been getting all the attention. That's kind of backwards. Maybe.